Hello, and welcome to Amarillo Gear Company. My name is Bob Neely, and I want to take you on a tour through a brand new product that we have. We are introducing the new Amarillo Gen II GT 1712 gearbox. It's the most technologically advanced gearbox for wet cooling towers in existence today. So many of you are familiar with the GT or the old Amarillo 1712. We've been making those for almost 50 years, and during 50 years you'll learn a thing or two about what's important to the customer and how to make it a more reliable product. One of the reasons the 1712 is as popular as it is because it is so reliable, and we've improved upon that. And if you'll give me just a few minutes, I'm going to show you three things that we've done to make the gearbox even more reliable. So first thing I'd like to talk to you about is the sealing of the gearbox. Now in the past, all manufacturers, including Amarillo, we've had to use lip seals. These are little wear seals that are used on the input shaft to keep contaminants out and the lubricant in. But they do wear over time. These are considered a wear item, they're a maintenance item, and they have to be replaced from time to time. And if you don't do that, then you're going to potentially can ruin your gearbox because they wore out, lubricant leaked out, you didn't catch it, so now you've got to replace a very expensive gearbox or have it repaired. Well, what we did was technology finally caught up, and we were able to start using a seal that's called an isolator. And there's a lot of different isolators out there in the market. This is called a bearing isolator. And in place of wear seals, we use one bearing isolator. You can see it's a much more substantial seal than what lip seals are. It's machined brass and has two parts that are rotating on one another. What makes this seal so special compared to other isolators out there is it's non-contact. What that means is it's not in contact with the output shaft or the input shaft for that matter. It is only on the input shaft that we use this. If it's not touching that shaft, then it is not wearing, which means that's one item that's not going to fail and leak the oil out of the gearbox. It's also, you don't have to periodically replace it. So we've just greatly reduced the amount of maintenance that's required on your Amarillo gearbox. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is oil. Now the gearbox continues to use oil, but we've changed how it's lubricated slightly. Yes, we still use the oversized oil slinger that distributes the oil inside the gearbox very efficiently and exactly where it needs to go. Make sure that all the bearings are properly lubricated, all the gears are properly lubricated. But we all want to use products that use less carbon products, and we were able to reduce the amount of lubricant required to properly lubricate and cool this gearbox during operation. So we've reduced it by 33%. So now the GT 1712, the Amarillo Gen II, is now a greener product using less lubricant, but still properly lubricating the gearbox. Now, speaking of lubricant, you know, it's good that we're using 33% less, but the other thing, critical function that lubricant has is ensuring that the gearbox takes away heat while it's operating. You know, rotating equipment generates a lot of heat. Now, if we have less lubricant in the gearbox, how are we going to take that heat away? Well, we've added fins to the gearbox gear case. We've also rounded the case. It's a much more rounded design with fins. Fins help with dissipating heat, pulling heat out of that oil. And the cooler we can run our gearbox, the longer the lubricant is going to last. So that means you're not going to have to change your oil quite as frequently. So now you've lowered your ownership cost. So we've got better lubrication system now. We've got less lubricant. We're lowering your cost of owning it with lubricant changes. You're also saving money not having to change and worry about input shaft oil seals. Those are gone. They've been replaced with a non-contact bearing isolator. But those are just a few things about the new Amarillo Gen II 1712 that I want you to know about. If you would like to know more, Please feel free to reach out to your Amarillo Gear representative or drop us a line at info@amarillogear.com.